Don't worry about the language. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to another edition of Muzzy Buzz. In case you guys are new here, my name is Mort and I am the host of Muzzy Buzz. I'm also a co-host of another podcast called The Mad Mamluks. So go ahead and check that out. So this video is going to be a video kind of in the line of the other videos I've been doing, and it is going to be addressing some of the points made in the video. So it's kind of like a reaction or commentary video. So this particular video is going to be about a clip that the Apostate Prophet put out about Daniel Haqiqatjou. Now, I'm going to give some background here. Daniel and Ridvan had a 2-hour-long debate about Islam and things like that. And out of that entire 2 hours, Ridvan takes this little clip, a 2-minute clip, and uploads it to his channel with a bunch of funny little graphics, or whatever, like, I guess, not graphics, but, edited stuff to it. And apparently this might have been his pride and joy moment in the entire debate, because I watched the whole thing and literally Daniel spanked him for hours on this debate. I mean, he was literally, speechless most of the time. He couldn't answer. And he kept blaming Daniel for saying, oh, you're not letting me speak, blah, 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 blah. But it was because the Apostate Prophet kept running around in circles and wouldn't really answer stuff or be consistent in his argument. So anyways, now that you have the context, let's take a look at the video and then we'll go ahead and comment on some of the things that we see. So let's have a look.
Wouldn't it be more honest and more consistent with yourself, especially also to prove to others that you are trying to spread your ideas to move to a country, for example, that is ruled by Islam?
What country should I move to?
Any country that has
Saudi Arabia, where they are imprisoning scholars for saying anything in line with the Sharia. If I were in
for
Saudi,
example, yes.
right? Why are they doing that? Saudi is doing that because of who? The West, right? Because of Israel, right? Because of America, right?
You glorified Brunei, for example.
Okay, so before we get into talking about the next point, you notice how Ridvan can't even concede the argument that, yes, there are countries like Saudi Arabia, which is supposedly, in his mind, a religious country, that imprisons Muslims for practicing Islam. What Ridvan doesn't get, and this is surprising because he was supposed to be some kind of Islamic scholar and not scholar, but well-versed in Islam, and he knew a lot about Islam, more than the average Muslim. And he should have known that in Islam, you can't have a half and half Sharia. It can't be, or even 2% Sharia or secular, or even 95% Sharia and 5% secular. It doesn't become Sharia. You can't do that. Either you take it all or you don't take it at all. And that's how it is. But he doesn't seem to remember or understand that concept. Maybe he didn't get taught that at the, quote, madrasa he went to. But anyways, Daniel makes the right point that these are not Islamic countries run by Sharia law. They are Muslim majority countries that are that have governments that have been propped up by Western allies. And there's no doubt about that. We know that the West has a heavy influence over majority of these Muslim countries. And if it's not the West, it is other countries like Russia or China, Israel, for example, other countries that have similar type of control over these countries, right? But instead of acknowledging that, Ridvan goes, "Oh, what about Brunei?" As you'll see in the next clip, right? But he can't even bring himself to admit, hey, you know what? You're right. These countries are being affected by foreign governments, and so therefore preventing these governments or even Muslims or whatever it may be from implementing a government that will reflect Sharia law, right? He won't admit that, which is fine. He wants to now, what we call, move the goalpost. He wants to move to another topic now. And let's see what that is.
You wrote an article that says salute the Sultan. Okay, logically, anyone can see this. Isn't Brunei much closer to your ideal world than America?
Well, I mean, there's other issues.
Okay, real quickly before, you notice how he played that silly game, the clip editing where he catches Daniel scratching his head and then, fixing his hair, and he's trying to make it sound like, oh, he trapped him, and now Daniel is nervous, and so he's, quote, sweating now because Ridvan somehow made some profound point that, oh, this is closest to Sharia law, Brunei, and now I got you, Daniel. Haha, the Apostate Prophet finally has got something right here. After hours of debate, I finally got something. Well, let's take a look at Daniel's response, and then we'll continue to talk about this.
As well, like with me personally, because I was born in the US, these countries aren't giving me citizenship. They won't give me citizenship in many cases. And unfortunately, because of the nation state system, if you're not a citizen, you aren't born there, then you're a second class citizen. Like,
you want to talk about discrimination and you want to talk about two-tier status in Islamic law, look at the modern nation state and the two-tier status between citizens and non-citizens and the different treatment on the basis of where you're born. How is that more rational than the kind of treatment within Islamic law on the basis?
Okay, so let's talk about this. So instead of acknowledging that Daniel is born in the US and that other countries, because of secular influence and hyper-nationalism, do not offer others citizenship in many cases. For example, places that will be sustainable to live. For example, the country that Ridvan just mentioned, like Saudi Arabia, they would not allow him to be a citizen. Instead of acknowledging the point that Daniel made, he starts making goofy donkey faces. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. I mean, it seems like every time Daniel makes a point, the guy just sounds, he's dumbfounded. He doesn't know how to respond. So he just makes these weird, awkward faces and starts taking notes as if he's going to say something else. The point being is what he did was, instead of in the debate, saying, hey, Daniel, you said before that there's no perfect Islamic country, and now you're changing it to because I can't get citizenship. Instead of saying that in the debate, he cowardly does it after in an upload to a clip on YouTube. He won't confront Daniel about this during the debate, but he'll somehow then take a snippet of it and do it this way and say, oh, he's changing the topic again. No, he didn't change the topic. This is very relevant. And I'm going to explain something to you. People cannot do something for multiple reasons, Ridwan. People can have more than one reason for not doing something. The primary reason is that there is no place in the world where there is Sharia law. Secondly, you said, okay, and you understood that. So the second best option would be to move to a country that is closer to Sharia law. Well, Daniel goes on to explain, while you make dumb faces, that as a result of these countries not having Sharia law and being influenced by Western countries or other countries, they don't allow people to emigrate and get citizenship and equal status in these countries. If it was a Islamic state, by default, Daniel would have residency and citizenship and full rights as a citizen of that country or that nation. But because of that, he doesn't have that. And instead of acknowledging that point and realizing that that is actually one of the flaws of hyper-nationalism and secularism and all these things that he's talking about previously in the debate, you simply decided to fast forward and act like he wasn't making a point. No, the point completely refutes what you're trying to make, what you're trying to make. But instead, you're trying to paint the argument that he is somehow changing the discussion or basically ruling out his first argument. No, it's just that maybe you're just being disingenuous like you normally are. So again, I think we've seen how, Ridwan likes to play on people's clips and essentially twist their words. And this is why people don't want to debate you. Right now, you're going out talking to Ali Dawa and Adam Saleh about debating them and having a conversation. Why would they have a conversation with a disgusting individual like you? Why would they do that? When you insult the Prophet, you intentionally try to insult. You don't wish to have a civil debate. If you wanted to be civil and have a civil discussion, you would behave with respect. But you don't want to. And on top of that, additionally, you do dumb things like this, where you try to make yourself look like you've won a point, but in fact, you just made yourself look like a fool. And this is why people don't take you serious. This is why they make up names for you, because you do the same sort of name calling, right? You and the people that bring on your show, you are inconsistent in your arguments and even in your behavior. So that's how I feel about it. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below. If you like the content of this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified every time I make new content or go live. By the way, I have a live show every Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you guys there. So until next time, let's talk about it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.